This episode is brought to you by our patron supporters. Today's patron of the day is Monkey at Typewriter, aka Will. Our first The Line wedding. So thrilled, so excited for you. Congratulations. Patrons get the show always ad-free and access to the extended episode with bonus content. If you don't want to miss all of that, go to patreon.com/calltheline. That's patreon.com/calltheline. We're so excited.
Yay! The Line wedding.
The Line wedding.
That's
This
crazy.
is our first one. I think there'll be others. I hope we get pictures. Okay. And then we play the intro. Hey y'all. It's an episode with just the girls today.
Hello.
Jimmy sent me something going on. I'm actually not confident on what it is. So, lucky you, just the girls.
Potentially had his house hit by a UPS truck. I think it was like concerned that he would spend the entire show talking about it and just didn't even want to go down that road. So
if a UPS truck hit my house, it would be my personality for many months. I wouldn't talk about anything else either. That's crazy. That's a crazy thing to happen. Okay, right before we hit record, we were talking about something funny, and I was like, we should talk about this on the podcast, actually, because was it last week or maybe the week before?
Yeah, it would have been last, or were we back already? Oh my God, I don't know how long we've been back for. It would have been the week before, so it was the 18th on Wednesday.
We did chewed gum, and I was talking. I don't even know what I was talking about because this is such an insignificant moment in like my life. But I did the thing where like you like fake hold a fist, and it's like a common internet joke. And Arden received an email about it.
So long, like absolutely ridiculous. I can't believe this person took this much time out of their life to like. I refuse to believe it's sincere, like, concern. So it's like, really, you want to perform like this in my email?
Perform like
it's so goofy. Like, do you need a reality show? Will that help you, sweetie?
It's just, listen, in no way am I physically threatening anyone ever. Actually, oh my God, ew, I burped and I heard it. That was gross. I hope everyone on the podcast heard that. That was disgusting.
I did not hear it, but
okay. You're probably lying. That's okay. We'll find out. I'm not trying to physically threaten anyone. I'm also 5 feet tall, and there's no fucking way. Yeah. There's no way. Although I think that like the New York City in me could potentially feel threatening, but as a whole, it's not happening. So that was silly. That was a silly moment. And what else? Like, what else is new?
What is new? I mean, I don't know. It's been weird since the last time I was on the pod. I got to go back to my hometown for a little family wedding, which was honestly mostly positive. I was very stressed about it. Like, I was like, oh my God, I'm going to see so many people who I do not have good connections with. That could be very toxic or like hostile or whatever. And by and large, it was great. But yeah, I mean, then you come back and Donald Trump gets granted like the ability to do basically anything short of a class action lawsuit from the Supreme Court. So all of that peace and vacation time just like vanished into the wind, you know? But how are you? What's new for you? Please tell me something good and uplifting. If you can.
I don't know. There's been a lot of stuff going on. Like in my house, like with just some like family stuff. So I feel like I've been a little like disconnected from what's been going on, which is actually kind of nice. But part of it is also I started to walk on my treadmill in the morning. Just like I start my work day and I'm on the treadmill and I have like my little iPad and I like organize what my to-dos are and whatever. And I do that for a while and it helps so much because the habit that I formed of like being at breakfast and opening up Instagram and the first thing I see is like all of the news that happened overnight. It was wrecking me. I was like, this is not sustainable. I cannot keep doing this.
Yeah.
So that helped.
There's a weird balance to strike there. Like I don't have good habits in that domain, but I mean, it's definitely like straight up evidence-based, like doing that sort of thing, especially I think for people with ADHD, it really helps with like your ability to focus in the day and stuff like that when you're getting that sort of fitness in early. Yeah, I mean, I've even heard like doing like brain puzzles and stuff during the afternoon, like can be really helpful to keep you on track. So I do a lot of brain puzzles, but that's because I can sit on my phone on my ass and do them, you know, whereas I should definitely be getting on the treadmill, but it's okay.
Here's the thing. I'm not breaking a sweat when I'm doing this. It's a leisurely walk. I'm trying to like get my 10,000 as close as I can to 10,000 steps in. So like I'm on the treadmill for like 45 minutes or an hour, but I'm iPad kid it up. Like I'm okay. This is really stupid and I can't believe I'm going to share this on the podcast, but have you ever, oh wait, no, you don't use Canva. Okay. Canva has this thing called whiteboards. Bitch.
Okay.
I fucking love a Canva whiteboard. It's like it literally is like a huge whiteboard and you can like drag and drop like Post-it notes on it. You can put like, I don't know. It's like, I think it's going to be the new way I present things. Like, I don't know who I'm presenting things to, but like when I do, this is how I'm going to do it. I work for myself. So I'm going to present to myself. I don't know. But I like, I've been organizing all of my ideas on a Canva whiteboard and it scratches an itch between that. And I feel like I've rediscovered Pinterest in a really beautiful way. Those are the places those are the websites I want to be on. Instagram,
I love
TikTok.
Pinterest. Pinterest is great. There's so much good, especially like I love like doodling and stuff. Like obviously I do like a lot of the graphic design for the line, but like that is a big part of how I spend my free time when I'm like not trying to think about the news, not like trying to do something that's engaging my brain, but fun for me. I draw. And so I spend so much time on Pinterest. I'm like, yes, give me all the weird little doodles that some random person made. Like that is so like, just, I feel like it keeps my creative energy flowing in a good direction. So yeah, love me some Pinterest.
I love it.
Yes.
I also feel like when I'm trying to figure out how I want to dress for because like, okay, I am not really a summer girl. When it's hot, I am like, I wear a lot of dark colors. I don't look at my legs. That's embarrassing. Like, I don't want to wear shorts. Like, shorts are horrid. What a terrible garment. I hate them. So like I'm more likely to wear a dress than I am shorts because I hate them. But so I'll go on Pinterest for like outfit stuff. And it makes me feel so like inspired and poor, but inspired more than anything else.
Totally.
I look at my Pinterest board, I'm like, and I have none of this. I have nothing that's on this board, but we'll make it work.
Oh, totally. No. And I know I'm very similar. I like to wear a lot of black and like grew up in New England where it never gets really that hot, even during the summer. Most of the time, it's still like cool compared to fucking Texas. Yeah. Yeah. I genuinely hate summer when it's excessive heat. Like I like same thing. I just don't like wearing shorts. I'm like, I was really enjoying not shaving my legs all winter, and now I have to actually give a shit again. You know, if you don't want to be like singled out or whatever by weirdos, which like generally I don't care, but you know, it's a thing.
Yeah. And I feel like, especially with everything that's going on, it's like anything that will draw more attention to you would make me really nervous.
Yep. 100%. I'm always like, right, it's time for me to remember how to like actively perform womanhood and like really pretend I care. Cause oh my God, people out there really care. Living in Texas
feels like, why are we doing that? And it's like, I know that it's like the cost of living makes sense and like it's a metropolitan area and all of those things. And it just feels like there has to be like a secret third option that's not like moving somewhere expensive and living in Texas. Where's the secret trapdoor? Like the third option. What's that?
This is interesting because Matt and I are looking at a lot of places to move. And one of our top contenders right now is Illinois. It's like right in the middle of the U.S. The cost of living is so low comparatively to a lot of the U.S. They have a great governor, great laws. Like overwhelmingly, their legislature is really good, but it's completely surrounded by red states. And part of my concern is like, okay, well, I'm sure we'll get into the politics soon, but like we're entering this world where Donald Trump can kind of do whatever he wants to a certain extent. And I think we're going to see a lot of like fractal systems, right? Like a lot of the things like that we've expected to be like federal are kind of like breaking apart and going back down to the states. And that makes living in a state surrounded by red states kind of scary, because I'm like, sure, I'll be super safe and comfortable in Illinois, but what if I want to like drive up to Minnesota, like, and I have to go through a red state just briefly, like even for a little bit of time? Like I'm a little bit paranoid we're going to be getting into a time where it's like, oh, can't cross. So I'm kind of like, oh, should I consider more of like the West Coast, because that whole sort of side is blue, or like, northern New England where I was raised, that's a lot of blue states kind of collected. It's hard to know exactly what to do. Honestly, it's there. It doesn't really feel like there is a good in between option. And
so I'm saying, where's the secret third option that exists? Like, where is it? I would love, selfishly, I would love if you guys moved to like New York or LA, like go into a major city and like, but I know that it's so expensive, and it's like, where your priorities are, it's like not that, but it would just be so fun.
It would be really fun. I really would love to live closer to like you, or like, some of the other line people, just because it's like, we spend so much time together here. It would be nice to like do fun stuff together and not have it always have to be work and politically oriented, because that just gets exhausting sometimes. But yeah, it's really hard to know what the good solution is. I've heard of some people who are like, I know Spain provides like a digital nomad visa, which is like, if you're, employed like online and you make over a certain amount, I think you get up to like 5 years the visa accounts for. And Spain has really good laws too. So like, I've heard of people doing that. It's really tempting, but how impossible would it be to like move your life across a continent? I just can't even begin to unwrap that. Like moving to a few states over is already sounding so difficult. I'm like, don't have the time or energy to figure that one out. So,
and it's also because you have all the animals too.
Yep, so that does like make things really hard.
An added like thing to consider and plan for. I don't know. But the whole conversation of like, if you stay in the US or if you're going to go is always so interesting to me, because I understand so much, obviously, people wanting to leave. But I also really understand when people are like, okay, but if we leave, then the only people who will be left.
Yeah. I feel that way about Texas too. I'm like, I feel so bad for the kids in Texas that we're going to be abandoning by leaving. But it's also like, there's an element that's kind of like, that we talk about when taking breaks from activism too, where it's like, if your battery isn't like recharged and you crash out, you're providing less to the overall movement than if you are able to take regular intervaled breaks where you're like detaching yourself, And I think it's kind of similar where it's like, I don't want to leave the kids here alone. And I think if you can stay, that's a really good thing you can do. But also, like, if what's going to help you contribute the most long term is living in a place that's more safe, why would you not do that? Like, it seems like that's a really good decision for a lot of people. Yeah.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see how it all shakes out in the next couple of years.
Yep.
It's crazy. Although, and we talked about this on the last episode, Mamdani winning, like, this is a huge, I feel like the reason why, I don't feel like the reason why this is a huge win for us, even outside of New York City, like even for, like, I don't live in New York City. I live in New York, but I live above the city. So like, he's not my mayor, but like seeing people show up and vote for someone like that has been, I have chills because I'm so corny, but it's so like, it's so encouraging, and it's New York City. So like, of course, New York City is going to be a little, it's not representative of the entire country, obviously, but to see like someone like that step hopefully into office, but to be the candidate is so encouraging. It's so encouraging. And I hope that it's a symbol of what we can anticipate moving forward as we go into midterms next year and whatever, making it through this horrid presidency.
Yeah. I mean, we've been saying this for ages. Like, when Kamala was running with the fucking Cheenies, like, everyone was like, you don't have to play diet Republican. Like, anyone who wants to vote for a diet Republican is going to vote Republican. They're not going to vote for a fucking Democrat. So why don't you own the principles that separate us from those people and show that you're, like, not captured by this fucking, like, the same establishment that turns out, like, the Hakeem Jeffries and the Schumers, where they have all of these... They're just like a focus tested phrase generator. Everything they say has, like, clearly been run through so many groups before it came out of their mouth. Whereas,
focus tested phrase generator is really funny.
Right. Like, that's how it feels to me. Whereas, like, Mamdani feels like, I don't know if you watched the debate, but where, they were asking everyone where you would go first, everyone got their chance to be like, I love Israel. And he was I'm actually just going to be in New York. I'm going to be here working where my job is. And they were like, oh, so you don't think Israel has a right to exist? Like, they just full on, like, this was, like, set up to attack him, essentially. Yeah. And it's like, you can tell that Zoran is like, I am not bought by the establishment. Like, I am my own person bringing values that I think represent my generation here. And I think that just is really appealing to a lot of people. They like the authenticity, even if they don't necessarily agree with, like, all of his policies. Like, I'm not entirely sure how some of those policies are going to work out. Like, I'm like, it sounds great, but it's very pie in the sky. But, but, like, if he can do some of it and it really impacts people, like, amazing. We've already seen from Trump, like, you don't need to necessarily play by all the rules and be like, well, we're the good guys, so we're going to follow all the procedure. Like, that's clearly, like, completely fucked us with Biden in his last term. So, yeah, I mean, it makes me hopeful as well that there's, like, a resistance movement that's building there to everything we're seeing, even if it's starting to feel like it's more and more fragile.
Yeah, but I think it's also, I understand the want to feel like we're playing, like, chess and not checkers, and, like, is it smart to put someone who's so progressive and, like, might actually not get all the things done that he's promising? Like, does it really make sense? Or do we have someone who's, like, a little more middle of the road, but they will get the things done? Like, I think that we have hit a sort of crossroads with that strategy. And I think that we have to keep pushing for these really progressive people in office, because like, the purpose for them is beyond what they actually achieve. It's also a symbol of what this country wants. Like, it is so incredibly important to communicate on as wide of a scale as we can that the majority of people do want this person who is trying to set up systems that are socialist, like, that are, like, free buses and having rent controlled apartments. Like, this is what people want. And so even if he doesn't achieve all of those things, we now have, like, a stamp in the ground of this is what people voted for. This is what they want. Like, more than someone who's middle of the road or a diet Republican or whatever. Like, people are willing to try something new. And so this is what we got.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, it makes me really excited. I think, I mean, I largely agree with, like, most of the policies he's proposed. I'm like, yeah, I mean, if you can get that done, that sounds fucking awesome. Like, let's do it. I'm so for it. But yeah, I think it's 100% about, like, the intent for at least when it comes to winning elections. I think maybe when you're, like, actually negotiating with legislators, you might need a slightly different approach. But when it comes to convincing people that you deserve their support, I think it really is more about, like, the story you're telling, the narrative you're building, like, what am I here for? And, like, how can I show that? And the narrative should be that I'm here for you and for the majority of people, like, the working class. And it does feel like we are starting to see a bigger shift in, like, class consciousness, like, people are really starting to get aware that, like, how you feel about trans issues per se. Like, you know, we can maybe have disagreements there, but at the end of the day, like, it's all of us against the upper class. Like, you know, the billionaires, like, we have far more in common with each other than we ever will with them. And so why not fight that fight together? And then we can sort of hash the things out when everyone's living well and being healthy, you know, on the day to day. Not living hell. Please don't live in hell. Great Freudian
slip. Yeah, please don't live in hell. I think we should talk about the Jeff Bezos wedding just in like I feel like what I bring to the podcast sometimes is like a little pop culture moment, but like that also is whatever. We'll go on an ad break. And when we come back, we'll talk about other newsy things. And I want to talk about that fuck ass wedding. Unbelievable. I went to a going away party yesterday and I was in the car with my grandma. Me and my grandma are the same. And she's like, this is fucking stupid. I don't want to be. She's like, you're moving to a state 2 hours away. Is this necessary? And I'm like,
love that. Grandma brings the tea.
She does. She and I, Grinches. So we'll have much to discuss wedding wise. I can't.
This episode is brought to you by the amazing people on patreon.com/calltheline, where you can get the show ad-free and you get the extended episodes where we do bonus shows, which is most of the time. Head over to patreon.com/calltheline and sign up today. Would you like to be one of the cool people who can
I don't know if this is the one I'm supposed to click. Jimmy will have to let us know. Sorry if it's not. I actually think it's not, but that's okay. We're back. I'll check my notes. I'll fade this out. We're back. And right before we left, I was thinking about the Jeff Bezos wedding because we were talking about class consciousness. And the only things that I've seen about this wedding is how they had essentially all of Venice rented out for this. And it was like $53 million.
Yeah. Which is like, sorry, I want you to finish your thought. You look like, I don't want to interrupt you. Sorry, go ahead.
Okay. The first thing I thought was so many of the people who attended it went on private planes. And at what point do you say, why couldn't all of you have gotten on one commercial plane, which would have had far less of an environmental impact? And there were enough people. You could have done a few carpool, plane pool, figure it out. Really? We all had to take private jets?
Right. I mean, honestly, I think it's good in a sense that they keep exacerbating the differences between their lives and most people, because it's like,
true.
Good. Keep pissing off more people, because that is what's going to get us to have some sort of like good momentum of a wave of resistance, you know? So, but it's absolutely disgusting, especially when the Senate is just, I think, I don't remember the update I heard last, but I think the Senate,
bill?
Yes, the budget bill, which is supposed to like increase our national debt. It increases our, what is it? The spending deficit ceiling, and it's going to like decrease revenues, and you know, and a lot of that's going to tax cuts for people like Jeff Bezos, clearly to pay for this wedding he just spent, you know, or just spent all that money on. You know, he's going to need to recoup that cost. So I guess the American taxpayers have to put that bill.
Right.
Yeah, it's fucking disgusting.
I think so they took a major step towards delivering the bill yesterday, but key hurdles remain for his giant tax cuts and spending measures. So I guess it's not fully passed, but it's one step closer. I don't know what we're supposed to do. Like, how my mom was asking me this. My mom, who was like suddenly become an activist in a way that I'm so proud of her. Like, every time she posts something on Instagram, I'm like, okay, slay. Oh my God. Like, and so she's like, Alyssa, what do we do about the big, beautiful bill? And I was like, I don't really know. Like, you can call your senators and like express how you feel. But I feel like many of them are just kind of like evil villains to me at this point, and I don't really know that they're going to listen or care.
100%. I mean, even the ones who are holding out, what's his name, Rand Paul, even he, like, I will say he's being at least honest in the sense that he's acknowledging that, this is raising up the deficit. This is completely counteracting Doge and what Trump has, ran on. And like, he's being honest about that. And I think that's in part because a senator's job, you're representing 2 senators for each state. You're representing the entire state's constituency. So you don't necessarily have that like, oh, well, I'm only representing these people, so the negative effects won't really affect them. And I can kind of dodge accountability in that way. Senators, I think, have a harder time with that. And but even he is like an evil, like clown, who will like fall in line over other things. Like he's been, of course, saying how like, oh, we're sending money in USA to transgender operas and all that stupid bullshit. So, yeah, but I mean,
transgender operas, like, what does that even mean?
I'm sure there was some sort of, like thing that got money that's tied to, but
okay, actually, want to know something crazy about that statement? Opera has had cross-dressers since the beginning of fucking time.
Of course.
Theater they've had cross-dressing since the literal creation of it.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, it's just... I never know what's going to be the thing that makes me so angry when I do the podcast. I think that might have been the thing today.
I'm glad to provide it.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, I mean, it's been like his way, I think, of
crazy.
trying to like get other Republicans to be like, look, there's more important things to focus on, like how our money's being misused for transgenderism kind of mentality. And
yeah,
I don't know. It is frustrating though, because like you're right. I think it's this weird disparity I see. Democrats have been talking a lot lately about like, oh, like we need to like make room for more voices and not cancel people and purity test them all the time. But then at the same breath, they'll talk about the fact that, like you're pointing out, Republicans are like evil and they all will completely funnel into one message, no matter what it is. There's no diversity. Like you've been seeing that graph of like diversity of thought on the right.
No.
Oh my God. Oh, that's a thing we'll have to talk about in a second. But yes, it's crazy. Like they will completely fall in line behind whatever narrative because they don't have any real beliefs, I don't think. Like they believe whatever is convenient to get them more power and wealth. And so, yeah, it's hard to know. I mean, things like the No Kings protests, I think, are a really good start. And hopefully there will be a second round of those in lieu of what's happening right now. But yeah, it's really hard to, I think all of us are feeling pretty helpless. I definitely feel pretty helpless. Like, yeah, there's only so much harassing your representatives and senators that you can really do. Yeah.
I wonder actually, like, who organized the No Kings protest? I don't even know. It feels like it just popped up and I don't know how I'm impressed with whoever started it and shared it to the degree that they did so that it was all over the country. And we need to get them on the big, beautiful bill. We need to get them to help us organize a protest for that.
Yeah, it's really terrifying because, like, I don't know, like, we're in this situation where it's like people have to work. We're kind of like doing this weird desensitizing ourselves to all these horrible things that are happening, but we also have to like protest more than ever. But also protesting feels riskier than ever right now. Like, there's going to be a breaking point, and it's hard to know. I don't know. I'm just like, I didn't really think when Trump took office, I knew it was going to be bad, but I didn't think I really thought that he was going to be able to be as bad as he has been. Like somehow he still impresses me with the things that they're willing to accomplish. And
they're comically evil, like literally, like not comically laughing, comically like a comic. Like they are like evil villains in a comic. Yeah. Like I'm forever baffled by people who continue to support him. I think it's a very like, I've been recently confronted with the type of person who is like so, I'm trying to think of how to say this like nicely, and I don't think I can. It's just like the bootlicker mentality where like you will defend the system over the rights and benefits of the people who live here. It's like there was one clip, one of like the TikTok debaters, like Dean or Parker or someone, like interviewed a woman at a Trump like rally or whatever. And it's not even worth explaining what he, like, he sort of had a gotcha moment with her. And he finished that clip and he said, it's party over your people every single time you are in a cult. And like, that's how it feels. It's like you're so determined to not betray your party that you will throw every single person that you know and love under the bus just so that you can continue to lick the boots of the Republic. Why? They don't care about you. They don't care about you.
I know. I mean, it's insane. We're at year, like, what, 10 of dealing with Donald Trump like this. And it really is hard to know, even after all this time, I don't feel like we have a better understanding. And the cult element has only gotten worse. Like, I think back to, you know, some like historical cults and like how often it is the removal of the charismatic figure in whatever way, you know, like dying a natural death or whatever happens for like the organizing of it all to break apart. But then there's still usually like groups, like cells within it that will like maintain belief. And I 100% think that even long after Trump is gone, like we will still have like these sort of MAGA groups. And it's hard to know, like, part of me thinks that when they're gone, Republicans will return to some kind of normal, but I don't know what much there is to return to anymore. You know, they've all pretty much sold out all their values. So it's kind of like, yeah, it's really bizarre. But a lot of my family is exactly like you're describing. The like bootlicker mentality will like absolutely defend anything and everything the Trump administration does, no matter what. Like, it's truly bizarre and like difficult to have a conversation with them. And I'm the kind of person where I have a hard time not bringing it up, where I'm like, but you think this, like, how can you, like, it's so mind numbing. Or like when I get a hug from one of them, I'm like, but you're also okay with like people like me being virtually disposed of. So like, your hug feels disgusting. Like, I feel like I've got grime on me right now, you know, it's like so bizarre.
Well, there's been such a, like, it more than ever, it feels, which I say that, but I also think that it's always been this way and I was too young to like really understand. But now more than ever, it feels like the attacks feel personal. They feel like they're targeted at every person who is not a millionaire or a billionaire. Like it's so, it's hard not to bring up because it affects us all so deeply. And it's like, it's that evil villain level of actions that they're taking. So it's like, I don't know, when things felt like they were more chill in this country, at least the politicians were a little more discreet about the horrors that they were bringing into the mix.
Yeah. And it also felt like, I don't know, like you're saying, a lot of this has always existed, but I do think it's worse now. I think there used to be an ability to like negotiate, you know, like some sort of outcome with people. And it just feels like that is so not possible. Like everything has been so politicized and so like everyone's become so radical on every position that it is really difficult to navigate even really normal conversations with people. Like even some of my family who aren't really Trump supporters, but who like maybe were kind of like old fashioned Republicans, like they still consider themselves Republican, but they're like, I don't like Trump and I'll vote against Trump or whatever. Like even conversations with them can still be weird because they still are like in those ecosystems and like little things still filter through. Yeah.
What were you talking about? The chart or something, or a graph of? Oh
my God. The graph of, okay, so there's this graph that was floating around that was talking about diversity of thought among the right and left. And the thing that it was showing was that the left had a very tight graph of ideas. Like there were very few, like not as much divergence in ideas on the left. And on the right, it was like a bigger web. Like they were showing that there was a lot more diversity of thought on the right or whatever. And people were kind of posing this around as like, see, the left is closed-minded and the right is more big tent. But what I think it really seemed to indicate to me was that the left is actually working with like a core set of principles, right? That you can
That's what
only
I was
really come
thinking.
to certain outcomes with it. Whereas the right, they have no principles or values. They believe whatever they're told, whatever is convenient, you know. They were anti-war all of Trump's presidency. Now they're pro-war. And the second we have some sort of established peace deal, if we ever get one with Iran, they're going to go back to being anti-war. Like, they are whatever is convenient for the time and the moment that they're in. And so, yeah, I think it was being passed around as a way to try to be like, see, the left, they're just so intolerant and canceling of anyone who has different ideas. And it's like, no, I think we just actually have real principles.
Right. And also when the different ideas are that people should have the freedom to make whatever choices they want to make safely in this country.
Yeah.
If that's the idea, and that like people should be able to put a roof over their head and eat 3 meals every day and not have to break their backs to do it. That's the idea that we are unifying against, and that we're like canceling other people, which I think we've talked about this before. I don't believe that canceling is real. I think that that's like made up, and like it's honestly like it's not really as much of a thing as people think it is. There are very few people on the internet that have been successfully canceled. It just doesn't really happen.
100%.
So like I think that whole thing about like cancel culture, whatever, it's like, I believe in accountability culture. I believe that when you do something that's shitty, you should be able to accept the consequence of whatever that is, which might be a conversation that's happening online that's not particularly flattering about you. But if that's the consequence, first of all, it will go away. But also, like, you did something shitty. Like, that's the consequence.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I completely agree. I think whenever you bring up this conversation, everyone's going to be sure to be like, oh, but what about this one lady from this state that nobody remembers her name who actually lost her job because of it? And it's like, okay, sure, that's bad. Probably, unless you're like being actively hostile towards people in your workplace, you probably shouldn't lose your job. But but generally, like 99 out of 100 times, it is just, I got some flack from people online. And it's like, I think you kind of made a joke about this earlier, I think, unless I misunderstood. But I feel like a lot of the people who I reply to, I assume are like bots now. So like, I'm not even like, whenever I catch flack for anything, I'm like, honestly, until someone I respect brings me that sort of feedback, I'm just kind of like, block that out. Because like, I have a really hard time believing a lot of these like faceless, nameless profiles who are, you know, trying to attack you for something. I'm like, you could be a Russian bot farmer for all I know. Like, I have no fucking clue. So you're in that same bucket as far as I can tell.
Yeah, 100%. Oh my God. I posted a reel that, especially on TikTok, has like 500,000 views on it. And the comment section is horrible. It's like, I've seen men compare women, more specifically vaginas, to cups of water, can openers, recently I saw what was the one I saw this morning? It was crazy. It was if you own something, you tend to take care of it. But if you're just renting it, you tend to be harder on it. Beat it like a rented mule. And I said, so here's the thing. Women, not mules. Not mules. And you also can't rent or own us. What are you talking about? And I also feel like if you... Right. I feel like if the only way that you feel you can present your point is by giving me an analogy where you're comparing women to an object, I'm not confident in your point because that's the only way you feel you can demonstrate it as it is. Like, I already feel like you should know that this is not going to end well for you. Okay, let's do a little ad break and hopefully... Oh, wait, hold on a second. Make sure this is live. Okay. And when we come back, we can talk about some more newsy things.
Would you like to be one of the cool people who can prove they were supporting this podcast right from the beginning? Well, you can. Head over to linemerch.com. That's LINEMERCH.com and pick up some Founders merch for The Line as a podcast that will only be available for a short time and features the rough draft drawn logo that soon will be updated to look less like it was drawn by a 3-year-old. That's linemerch.com.
Okay, well, we're back. Sorry, chat. Riverside's being weird. Okay. Any other newsy things you specifically want to talk about today?
I mean, we kind of touched on it, but I do think people should be a little bit more aware and nervous about the Supreme Court ruling. They didn't specifically rule on birthright citizenship, but they ruled on nationwide injunctions from federal courts. So that is really scary. Like, they left in the toolkit injunctions from class action lawsuits, but you guys have to realize that, like, those are massive, difficult to file. Like, those things are only going to be filed by organizations like the ACLU, and like, they only have so much money, so many resources to do all these things. And I imagine that it is part of the intention of the Trump administration to run them out of resources, until they can't fight back, and they're not going to be able to pick every fight. So yeah, there's a lot of things that are going to start happening that could well be illegal. Like, the Supreme Court might even agree that they are illegal orders, but that there's nothing anyone can do to stop it. And that is really scary, especially when we start talking about Project 2025 and the things that we know they've talked about wanting to do and how much of that they've already fulfilled. So like, you can kind of reasonably assume, I think a lot of that is to come. Yeah, that has been occupying a lot of my mind for the last several days.
Okay. So first of all, I'm looking up the Project 2025 tracker because I haven't looked at it in a little while. 42% of that has been, oh my God. Do you know how much time is left in the term? 1,300 fucking days.
Oh my God.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So just to be clear, because I've been a little preoccupied. So the Supreme Court, what exactly did they decide?
So the Trump administration specifically, they didn't want to have them rule on the constitutionality of removing the birthright citizenship. So what they specifically had the lawsuit over was whether or not these lower federal courts had the ability to issue nationwide injunctions on policies passed by the Trump administration, basically saying that in order to halt the effect of a law, it needs to be done by a class action lawsuit protecting a whole class of people, not by these smaller federal courts who are representing individuals and then being extrapolated out. And there may or may not actually be some language in the Constitution that indicates that that is a better reading, is my understanding. But the problem is, this has been used for a long time this way, and we've never really had to worry about a president in the way we've had to with Trump, right? He talked about how there's more injunctions on his policies than like a lot of other presidents combined, but he's issued more executive orders than a lot of previous presidents. So yeah, it's basically saying that now, even if a policy he passes is illegal, unless it gets held up in a class action lawsuit, there's nothing anyone can do to stop it. Like, it has to go through the class action lawsuit and arise to the federal court, or be like, a opposing thing has to be proposed in Congress really to stop it. So it just cedes a massive amount of more power to Donald Trump.
So I hate that. That's so terrifying, actually. That sucks.
Yeah.
A lot.
And I do think, luckily, the ACLU and other organizations they were prepared for this. And so they have a lot of things loaded and ready to go to class action lawsuits. I know they've already filed several to hopefully keep up the fight, but it's going to be harder and more expensive. And so I imagine there's going to be some fights that they're just not going to pick, and that they're going to have to say, we can't do another one here. And so there's going to be people who are, harmed and who suffer. I think there's like 30 days that we have, or 60 days maybe, until there's supposed to be some sort of review about what to do about the implications of this. Because this could mean that there's some people who were born in the U.S. who were considered citizens, who now their citizenship status is like dubious. Like it's a gray area. We don't really know. And so it's hard to really know what the implications of this are going to be until we hit that time limit. But it's very scary for the future executive orders that he could be passing. Like, what if he really doesn't like Zoran Mamdani? And what if he passes some executive order that's like, socialists don't get citizenship anymore. And since he's a naturalized citizen, he wasn't born in the US, we could do that. Like, I don't know. It's really hard to know what the scope of his powers are going to be in this new landscape.
Yeah. Has Trump said anything about Mamdani?
Oh, yeah. He had, there's a good post. Let me.
I think I might have seen it, but.
He called him a communist lunatic. So.
Of course he did.
I do. Let me see if I can find the tweet. He also, one of, a big, I think, is it Ackman, big Trump supporter, has formally requested to repeal his, or to denaturalize him.
Mm-hmm. Can you fucking imagine?
Yeah.
It's also crazy to request that after seeing the support that he received. So it's like it is about Mamdani, but it's also about showing the people who support a person like that like they can go F themselves, and you know what I mean? Like it's like a power play on both sides, and it's
so you're not going to get a Jimmy style Donald Trump impression from me, but he said in his tweet, "It's finally happened. The Democrats have crossed the line. Zoran Mamdani, a 100% communist lunatic, has just won the Dem primary and is on his way to becoming mayor. We've had radical lefties before, but this is getting a little ridiculous. He looks terrible," he says. Consensus. Mamdani is like Momzaddy across the internet, like very hot, like
hot,
crazy. His voice is grating. He's not very smart. He's got AOC +3 dummies all backing him. This is good. Even our great Palestinian senator, crying Chuck Schumer, is groveling over him. Yes, this is a big moment in the history of our country. Totally using Palestinian as a slur, just like openly.
Right.
Fucking disgusting, evil person. Yeah, it is. So yeah, I mean, I don't know. It makes me scared for Mamdani, but he keeps showing up on news shows with this big old super fucking hot smile, being like ready to greet everybody, and I'm like, just keep smiling at me. It's keeping me afloat right now.
I know. He's so he's showing up so unaffected, and I feel like that's exactly what we needed, was someone who was like, okay, whatever. Like, whatever you want to post on fucking Truth Social, fine. But I am a little worried for his safety. But another thing too, until I saw that debate where, I need to send you a funny TikTok about that too, but until I saw him debate and ask that question or answer the question about where you're going to travel to, I knew, and it's like every day it's more clear to me, especially with the Tucker Carlson, Ted Cruz interview. But again, it's like, I actually had no idea how much the United States is involved in the affairs of Israel until like everything started, like really until like October 7th. And like everything really started like accelerating here, at least in like, in a day-to-day conversation. And then seeing Ted Cruz say that like when he was running and campaigning, it was with the intention of creating a great partnership between the United States and Israel. And I was like, I truly, and it's interesting because sometimes I feel very naive and I'm like, well, how did I know? But I guess, I don't know. It just didn't feel like it just didn't cross my desk until I really saw everything that's been going. Like, why are they even asking New York City mayors if they're going to visit Tel Aviv? Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, it's totally ridiculous. I mean, even like Marjorie Taylor Greene and Tucker Carlson were saying that like they thought that was a good answer from Zoran. Now, granted, the reason they don't like it is because they are very like protectionist. I don't want to be involved in any other country. Like screw those brown people, let them blow themselves up kind of mentality. So that's where they're coming from. But like, even they acknowledge that like that was actually the smart and reasonable answer.
It's
and one thing,
weird.
after that Tucker Carlson fight with Ted Cruz, Tucker Carlson's also been talking about how Ted Cruz was born in Canada and how he's not US born. And I'm like, oh shit, he's starting the like birther stuff on Ted Cruz now. Like, but honestly, I'm here for the internal blow up of MAGA. Like, I hope they keep attacking each other, because I think those kind of fractions in their coalition
they're important.
huge for us. So like, yes, keep fighting, girls. Like, go to
yes,
town.
girls. Go to town. No, yeah, exactly. Exactly. There was a conversation that I saw around Planned Parenthood potentially losing funding, and I think that they have delayed that official decision, which is great news because people go to Planned Parenthood for all different types of things. So I don't know. There have been little moments along the way where I'm like, okay, we've like saved these little moments and little spots of the country that are really hopeful. And it's the Mamdani of it all. It's the Planned Parenthood of it all. It's the No Kings protest. It's like I'm holding on to all of these things. It feels like if someone gave me like two ends of a parachute and they like then just started like fanning a bunch of air in it. I'm like holding on for dear life, trying to stay on the ground with it. Like that's how I feel. It's like at any moment in time, the whole thing could just like sweep me up and all of the US is going to be fucking over. But I don't know. For now, it feels I'm holding on to these like little threads of hope, like for dear life, and hoping that it's a sign that things will turn around. I also am so curious to see if Trump actually makes it through 4 years of this presidency, like whether it's, as Jimmy says, the cholesterol does the thing, or someone else does the thing, or he gets removed, which I cannot imagine a world in which that happens. But I have this like feeling he's not going to make it all 4 years, but I don't have a reason to believe that.
Yeah, I think our best shot is if we, by a miracle, landslide, dominate the midterm elections and take back the House and the Senate. There is a chance that we can do something like that. But I mean, I don't trust, even if we have the power, unfortunately, there are too many Democrats who want to play diet Republican, who want to do this sort of like, conservative posturing. Like, I will say, while I was initially completely disgusted with Alyssa Slotkin, she's kind of moved a little bit more, like, I don't know if I can really say she's moved more left, but she's, like, conceded on some policies that I appreciate. But, like, you have the John Fettermans of the world who are, like, never going to cooperate with an actual impeachment inquiry. So, yeah, I'm not super hopeful, but I get what you mean. Like, it's hard to believe when we're 6 months in and this much disaster, this much stress globally, this many people this close to such a brutal war. It's hard to believe that it's really going to keep going on this scale for this long. But yeah, I don't know. I get what, but I'm totally with you on, like, there are threads of hope that I'm holding on to. And I do hope it helps people realize too how important like your local community is. And like, that's something I appreciated about going home. Whereas I feel like sometimes when I'm in a city, you don't get as much of that. But when I was like back in my little small town, I was like, okay, like there, like my aunt and my uncle, right, who we disagree on a lot politically, drove me to the airport at like 8 a.m, 2 hours. But like just having people around who are like just willing to be there for the people in their life, like that is like really big. And I think that's going to be something that carries us way more through, the next however many years, through whatever outcome we get, because it's hard. Sometimes I wonder if like the American project is going to survive the next 4 years. Like it feels scary. It feels uncertain. Like,
yeah,
even in the last Trump term, not a single part of me was ever like, oh, America's dead. Like,
right.
Like the institutions will continue on. But now I'm like, I don't fucking know. I genuinely don't. Like this could be Trumplandia in a year and a half. Like genuinely, I would not be surprised.
Yeah. The United States of Trump.
Oh, no, thank you. I really hope not.
Fucking horrible. We're all going to have gold toilets, though. That's the good news.
Will we? Or are we all going to be... Oh,
I'm scared. What?
I was gonna make a joke. Or will we all be using outhouses in the next? You're welcome, chat. You're welcome.
Wow. And with that, I think we should go to the bonus show.
That sounds good.
Oh my God. Okay. So like literally what music do I play when I leave? Oh, podcast outro probably. Hope it works. Nope. I don't hear it. Do you hear it? Okay.
Nope. Not hearing anything.
Okay. Good. Okay. Bye.
Later.